Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Texas's 11th District for 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And almost 80 million Americans voted for a new energy policy because the last administration failed at theirs. So, Mr. Novak, thank you for being here, and you're doing a good job. And we appreciate the fact that you're trying to provide affordable, reliable energy to every American, and in direct opposition of what we saw the previous 4 years. Natural gas plays a huge role in this equation, and not just in homes, but also in managing costs for businesses. So I want to look at what EPCA has required DOE to do to ensure that any new standard is both technologically feasible as well as economically justified. So my first question, which I know you've touched on a little bit, but I'll give you some time to expand. How does DOE weigh the projected energy savings against the upfront costs that consumers will bear when these savings might be modest or indistinguishable?
Well, I think that points up why the bill is before the committee, which is the idea to sharpen the assessment of that trade-off there between utility and the energy efficiency gain to the consumer. It's something that, at least in a lot of people's experience, seems to be a bit off. Part of it is that the calculus now includes some things that are quite broad, social cost of carbon, for example, greenhouse gases, which is something a little bit broader and different than what is the energy consumption compared to the usage of this particular device, and what's the utility of the device.
So when a proposed standard only offers a very small amount of savings, what process does DOE use to decide whether it's worth moving forward on that? And what input do you gather to pull the facts?
I'll have to take that question back to staff that's involved in the project office that actually performs the assessment here.
I'll move to federal facilities and Section 433 implementation of the Energy Independent Security Act, which requires phasing out fossil fuel use in newer or newly renovated federal buildings by 2030. So how is DOE approaching this requirement while ensuring that critical facilities, whether they be federal courthouses or VA facilities or military bases, that they can continue to operate reliably, number one, but also in a cost-efficient manner?
It is a challenge, to be blunt, and it's a challenge just not in regard to the existing federal footprint, but the addition of any new federal facilities, where the requirement here is to basically be all electric. So this is one of the things, again, that points up, what's motivating the bill here is to again, get some flexibility here so that the energy solution, both for the existing footprint as well as any new facilities, is something that takes into account local delivery options as well as design specs, delivery timeframes, et cetera.
Well, the mandate of electrification in a lot of these facilities was one of the reasons that millions of Americans came out and said, that's just not realistic. It's not feasible, it's not realistic. Have you assessed the cost implications for agencies that would need to replace natural gas systems? I mean, what does that look like if we were to go forward, and would it even be possible to do that by 2030?
I'll have to take that question back for the record to see if we have a particular cost estimate.
What about the feasibility? I mean, just from your experience.
It's a challenge. We'll just say it's a challenge.
Which types of federal buildings, agencies, and entities would suffer the most, and which Americans and which populations demographics would suffer?
I'll have to take that question back for the record to see if we've heat mapped that against sort of location and community.
I'm worried about, again, military bases, VA hospitals, the facilities that are providing care and help to people that you mandate a switch to electrification, which is not feasible. Would DOE support clarifying or updating Section 433 to provide flexibility for installations when natural gas remains the most reliable option?
We would.
Very good. Is there anything else that you previously were asked that didn't have time to answer that you'd like to expand on in the next 45 seconds?
I think a lot of questions, but we'll keep moving ahead. Thank you, though, for the opportunity. Yeah.
Thanks. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you.